Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. Today I'm going to be reviewing the fourth episode of The Mandalorian Season 2, The Siege. Now, there will be spoilers in this, so if you haven't watched yet, you might want to do that first. Now, we pick up with Mando and Baby Yoda trying to repair Mando's ship. And then we get this funny scene where Mando tries to instruct Baby Yoda on how to do some rewiring in the ship, and then Baby Yoda winds up getting a nice electric shock. So, I mean, yeah, if you have any infants or toddlers around, by all means, expose some live wiring and then let them play with it. It's really a great idea. But they're not having any luck, and they decide to stop at Navarro to get assistance with fixing the ship. Now, when they arrive on Navarro, they're greeted by Greef, Karga, and Cara Dune, who agree to have his ship repaired. Then they show Mando around, and we see that they've been working to turn Navarro into a nice place to live. Cara is now the local marshal, and she's been stomping out the criminal element, while Karga is trying to establish the place as a trading outpost. We also see that they've opened up a new school, and they decide to leave Baby Yoda there because, again, sure, why not? I mean, it's not like there's anyone looking for Baby Yoda who might try to steal him away, right? Now, there's a kid in the class who has some macaroons, and Baby Yoda wants some, but the kid won't give him any, so Baby Yoda uses the Force to steal the macaroons because it's pretty clear at this point that Baby Yoda is evil. Now, Karga tries to convince Mando to help him and Cara shut down an Imperial base that's on the other side of the planet, as it's filled with weaponry that could wind up on the black market. Now, Mando's reluctant, but Karga points out that with his ship being repaired, he doesn't really have anything better to do, so Mando agrees. We then learn that they'll be taking Mithril along. Now, who's Mithril? Well, he's that blue guy that got caught back in the first episode of the show. He's now working for Karga, apparently, and he comes along. So they head to the Imperial base, but it turns out that it's more heavily guarded than they thought. And there's lots of member berries in this one, too. We get to see the Imperial troop transports. We also get some speeder bikes. We even get that reactor control thing that Obi-Wan operated back in A New Hope. So they have a shootout with some stormtroopers and they infiltrate the place, accompanied by this guy, apparently. And they find the reactor controls and they set the reactor to explode or melt down or whatever, and then they try to escape. Then they come to a lab facility that's being run by a pair of Imperial scientists. Now, after killing the scientists, they discover some sort of tubes holding several people. These tubes look similar to the tubes that were holding all those clones of Snoke back in The Rise of Skywalker. Then they find a message from that scientist in the first season, Dr. Pershing, I think his name was, saying that the people in the tubes were volunteers who were injected with blood from a donor, presumably Baby Yoda, but mentions that more blood is needed in order to continue the experiments. So it seems like they're using Baby Yoda's blood to maybe give other people force powers, but the blood kills them instead. Dr. Pershing mentions that the test subject's M count, which I assume means midichlorian count, isn't very good, and again, they need more blood. Now, after hearing this, Mando decides to use his jetpack to fly back to Baby Yoda and make sure he's safe, while Cara, Greef, and Mithril try to fight their way out. They steal a troop's transport, and then they try to make a getaway. So the stormtroopers follow them on the speeder bikes and some TIE fighters, and we get a nice, really good action sequence where they're chasing them through these gullies and ditches, sort of like the trench on the Death Star. And it seems like the Imperials have got them when Mando shows up in the Razor Crest, which is completely repaired somehow and takes out the stormtroopers. And then Mando and Baby Yoda head off to Corvus to find Ahsoka Tano. Then we get a scene where one of the techs working on Mando's ship contacts the Imperials and tells them that he's placed a tracking device on the Razor Crest. The Imperial officer tells them he'll be rewarded, and then she informs Moff Gideon, who gives his best "excellent," and it ends there. So overall, this was a pretty enjoyable episode. It was a lot of fun. This episode felt more like Star Wars than any other episode so far. Definitely one of the best episodes in this series. This was actually directed by Carl Weathers, and he did a really good job, except for letting that guy get captured on camera in the background in one scene, that is. He kept the plot moving along, and it never dragged or felt slow. I went into this episode expecting this to be another filler episode, but it definitely wasn't. Now, I do take some issue with some things. How far away is this base exactly? They tell Mando it's on the other side of the planet, but Mando flies back to his ship and grabs Baby Yoda and flies back to help them in what seems to be about maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And his ship seems to get repaired in just a few hours. That ship was being held together with ropes. It needed to be pretty much taken apart and rebuilt, yet it's completely fixed in less than a day. Okay, whatever. Also, I really was expecting Mithril, the blue guy, to pull some kind of a double cross and betray them, but that never happened. Despite all this, I gotta say thumbs up on this episode. So let me know what you think in the comments, and please like this video before you leave, and also please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.